It was the middle of summer, and I had just turned 14. My parents were going out of town for the weekend, leaving me alone at home for the first time. I was thrilled at the idea of having the house to myself. No rules, no curfews, just a weekend of movies, snacks, and video games. The first night was uneventful. I ordered a pizza, watched some horror movies, and stayed up late playing video games in the living room. Around midnight, I decided to head upstairs to my bedroom. As I was about to turn off the lights, the phone rang. It was an old landline phone that my parents still kept for emergencies. I hesitated for a moment. We never got calls on that phone, especially not at this hour. But I picked up anyway, and a raspy voice on the other end said, "Is this the Miller residence?" I didn't recognize the voice, but it sounded urgent, almost desperate. I confirmed that it was indeed the Miller residence, and the voice continued, "I need help. Please let me in." I was caught off guard. The man's tone was frantic, but something about it didn't sit right with me. I asked who he was, but he ignored my question and repeated, "Let me in, I'm outside." My heart started racing. I quickly hung up and ran to the front window, peeking through the blinds. The street outside was dark and empty. The only light came from the dim glow of a street lamp a few houses down. I couldn't see anyone. I returned to the phone and dialed my dad's cell number, but it went straight to voicemail. I tried my mom's number next, with the same result. I felt a knot forming in my stomach. Just as I was about to hang up and call the police, the phone rang again. I jumped, nearly dropping it. With a shaking hand, I picked up the receiver. Before I could say anything, the same raspy voice whispered, "I see you." My blood ran cold. I slammed the phone down, my heart pounding in my chest. I ran through the house, double-checking all the doors and windows to make sure they were locked. I didn't see anyone outside, but I felt eyes on me, watching, waiting. I decided to hide in my room. I locked the door and crawled under my bed, clutching my baseball bat. I tried to calm myself down, telling myself it was probably just a prank, but the uneasiness wouldn't go away. Minutes felt like hours as I lay there in silence, listening for any sound out of the ordinary. Suddenly, I heard a faint tapping on my bedroom window. My breath caught in my throat. The tapping continued, slow and deliberate, like someone was trying to get my attention. I peeked out from under the bed, just enough to see the silhouette of a man standing outside my window, his face obscured by the darkness. He tapped again, this time more forcefully. I could hear him muttering something, but I couldn't make out the words. I stayed hidden, too terrified to move or make a sound. After what felt like an eternity, the tapping stopped. I waited, listening intently. Then, I heard the creak of the back door slowly opening. My heart stopped. I didn't remember if I had locked it. Panic set in as I realized he was inside the house. I heard footsteps creeping down the hallway, getting closer to my room. I clutched my baseball bat tighter, ready to defend myself. Just as the footsteps reached my door, I heard the loud, blaring sound of a car horn outside. The footsteps stopped. I heard the man mutter something under his breath before retreating down the hallway. I lay there, frozen in fear, until I heard the sound of a car engine starting and driving away. I waited a few minutes before crawling out from under the bed. I carefully opened my bedroom door and made my way downstairs. The back door was wide open. I quickly shut and locked it, my hands trembling. I spent the rest of the night sitting by the front door, clutching my bat, waiting for my parents to come home. When they finally did, I broke down, telling them everything that happened. They called the police, who took my statement and assured us they would patrol the neighborhood more frequently. For weeks, I couldn't sleep without the lights on. I never found out who the man was or what he wanted, but the memory of that night still haunts me. The feeling of being watched, the sound of the tapping on the window, and the voice on the phone telling me he could see me.